This is unbelievable. An American white man has been arrested after being caught attempting to behead his African wife in Liberia. This incident happened on the 14th of September 2023 in Caldwell, and according to the story, a group of passerby overheard a young woman screaming for help in the bush. And when upon a tricycle rider went over to see what was going on, that was when he saw this white man holding the head of a young woman to the ground and slitting her throat with a knife. So at this point, the keke rider picked up a stick or a stone to hit the man in his head, rescuing the young girl from being killed by this man. So who is this man and who is this woman? Jessica Lloyd and Lucas Richard were said to have been dating for a while. Richard Lucas is an American man from Louisiana doing missionary work in Liberia. He appears to have been there since 2020 or 2021. So while in Liberia carrying out his missionary work, that is the work of the Lord, performing baptism, helping the poor and visiting communities, preaching the gospel, he met a young girl called Jessica whom he instantly fell in love with. And soon he asked Jessica to marry him. Now, according to the mother, Jessica brought the story of this white man that had interest in her and that the man likes her and had said he wanted to marry her. Now, this is Jessica's mother telling the story. And from what she said, Richard Lucas eventually met her mother to ask for the daughter's hand, that is Jessica's hand, in marriage. And throughout the questioning, the man admitted to already having a wife, but the wife is old and the wife is aware that he has interest, and the wife has permitted him to get married to Jessica. According to some sources, the wife is in the USA. But apparently, it turns out that the wife is also with him there doing the missionary work in Liberia. But it appears that Lucas and his wife are not always together, seemingly. Liberia is a big country, so maybe they had split their missionary work into different parts. But once in a while, the man and the wife still meet. However, the point is, Lucas claimed to Jessica's mother that his wife was aware that he was getting another wife in Liberia, and she approved of it because she's old and maybe cannot bear children or something. Lucas began treating Jessica really nicely, began showing interest. They began dating, and their relationship clearly grew stronger. It's not clear how long they've been dating, but soon afterwards, Lucas asked for her hand in marriage, even suggesting they did a traditional wedding, in which the mother approved. I'm not sure, but according to the mother, it might have been that Lucas also came with people from the missionary committee. He came with friends, he came with people who accompanied him to perform the traditional rites of getting married to Jessica. Now, it's not clear if they did the marriage, but it seemed like the traditional marriage eventually took place. And soon, Richard started talking about moving in with Jessica, talking about them finding an apartment so that they can start living together. But until then, he suggested that Jessica keep living with her mother in the mother's home. He most likely must have given them an option of, okay, either they'll find the apartment when he goes back to the USA, and when he's there, he will send money over for them to pay for the apartment. This to me just sounded like words of affirmation. This to me just sounded like sweet words that this man was using on this girl and her family. To me, it did not look like Richard wanted to get married to Jessica. It seemed like he wanted to have an affair with her. But he wanted to do it in the most graceful way ever. He wanted to come in the guise of love and marriage, because clearly that is the easiest way to deceive a young girl. And obviously he has an advantage of being a white man who is in the missionary, who is a Christian, who is holy, who has even genuinely admitted to being married. Because in Jessica's Facebook, he is friends with Lucas. And in Lucas' Facebook, him and his wife's picture of them getting married is on their cover. So it's no secret that Richard Lucas was married. The only conviction that Jessica and the mother had was that the wife was aware. So while they were talking about moving in, getting married, while all these things was happening, Jessica eventually got pregnant. She told the mom, and the mom asked her if she had told Lucas. And she said she had, and that Lucas was excited. And obviously, if Lucas is excited about the pregnancy, it seemed like a good thing. But it seemed as though Richard really wasn't exactly happy about this pregnancy, which is giving me the mindset that he only wanted to have an affair with this girl. Because according to the mother, when Richard found out that she was pregnant, they went to the hospital to confirm, and the hospital did confirm that she was indeed pregnant. However, somewhere along the line, Jessica lost the pregnancy. But Jessica claimed and may have told the mother that it was Richard who had injected her with something that caused her to lose the pregnancy, which meant Richard caused her to have an abortion without her permission. And this upset Jessica. And according to the mom, I'm not very sure if I heard correctly, it must have been that the mom confronted Richard and Richard acted like he was so sorry, acted like the pregnancy that they lost hurt him, acted that he probably did not mean to do it. Maybe he gave her an injection and thought that was going to be in her favor, but it only led her to lose the pregnancy. So this was the issue that they had between them. It was said Richard kept coming to meet Jessica. They were talking about it. They were trying to, almost as if Jessica was unhappy with him because of the pregnancy that had been lost due to the injection that he administered to her. And so on the 15th of September 2023, before then, it was said Richard had called Jessica's mom and had said that he's planning on traveling back, that he needs to see her, he needs to talk to her, that his flight was already for that day, but he has pushed it to the next day because he needs to see Jessica and they need to talk and, see how things would go on. And it was said that the mother said Richard did come to the house. He spoke with Jessica, he apologized, then they went into the vehicle to talk more. But she just thought they were settling and she eventually went to church. And it seemed as though somewhere along the line, Richard promised to take Jessica out, let them go out and chill, let them go out and have a date, talk about it, since he was already trying to go back to his country before returning again for another round of missionary work. So this was supposed to be a ride of them hashing things out. Probably Richard would apologize and all of this. Now, put in mind that somewhere along the line, how they probably knew things were off. According to the mom, she had said somewhere in her statement that the wife of Richard had heard that Richard and Jessica were doing something. I don't know if the woman confronted Jessica's mother, but it seemed like words started going around that Richard is having an affair with Jessica. But the mom was like, I thought everybody in the missionary knew. I thought the wife knew that the husband was getting married to another girl. So to the mother, she thought this man had already told his wife, because also Richard made her think that everybody in their missionary work, including his wife, was aware that he was getting married or having something to do with Jessica. Again, I'm still not sure if that traditional marriage was held. Sources are saying that the mother claimed that they did the marriage. Some sources are saying that they were already talking about it, but it never really happened. But eventually, Lucas Richard's wife heard about it and confronted. And, I guess after she learned that Jessica and her husband were together, it's unclear what she did. I'm guessing she may have gone home to confront the husband. So this is where I think this man was only trying to have an affair with Jessica. And when things blew up, he knew he would not mess up because he knows if the wife divorces him, he's going to lose all his properties in the USA. And that was around the same time that Jessica got pregnant. So this was looking bad for him. Things were just getting worse for him. And he knows if he removes the pregnancy from this girl, it probably will not end there because he has a reputation. He is a child of God. He is the preacher of the word of God. He is the one baptizing people and performing miracles. He's the one going around spreading the gospel. It will not look good in his name that he was having an affair with a young girl who got her pregnant and even aborted her pregnancy. So on the day, the 15th, when he promised to cheer her up, take her out, the day before he was supposed to travel, he drove her in his SUV. And on their way, he got to a bush path where they said he dragged her into the bush, hit her head, hit her to the ground, and was attempting to slit her throat. When a tricycle young man, a man driving a keke, saw it, stopped by, and hit him in his head, even fighting Lucas. It was said this keke rider also injured in the process. It was in that moment that an alarm was raised and people started coming to the scene. Lucas quickly ran into his vehicle and started running, but people were chasing him. A lot of people were chasing him. At this point, people had known what he had done. He was chased to the point where it became a mob action. They were about to lynch him and beat him up. But the police came and rescued him and arrested him. All this while, Jessica had been rushed to the hospital. She's still being treated for her injuries as at the time of making this video. So this story is very new. Definitely there will be an update to it because we've not heard from Jessica's side. If she survives, she would have to give a statement. And seeing that the man is in prison too, he too would have to give a statement. So we would have to wait and see how this story develops. But this is looking like something that would have gone a different way. This is looking like a tragedy that would not have gotten an answer. And this is not the first time we are talking about young girl being killed in Liberia mysteriously. We had talked about Princess Cooper, a few years back, who people suspected was killed by a group of Lebanese men who were never held accountable, and her death up to now is still mysterious and unexplained. So Richard Lucas was about to do something similar. He was about to kill this young girl, leave her in the bush, because his flight was the next day. So he knew after killing her, before everybody would figure things out, he has gotten into the airplane and he had flown out of the country. Who knows, his flight was most likely that same day, in the night. He just wanted to finish her off completely so that there would be no trace of him cheating on his wife. That is what I feel he was trying to do. This man was only trying to have an affair with this girl, and he wanted to do it in the most dignifying way by lying and deceiving her into thinking he was going to get married to her. Lying to the mother that his wife is aware, but the wife is old and cannot give birth, and one of those things. I know we as Africans, polygamy is not something we frown upon. It's something that we're fine with. A lot of women are okay giving their daughter up for second wives, just as long as the man is capable of taking care of them. And so I can understand why the mother was able to permit this man to attempt to marry the daughter. Again, I'm still not sure if the marriage happened. Sources are claiming that they did do a traditional wedding, but there is no pictures of it. So I'm guessing maybe he did something to show his interest for the girl, because they kept talking about apartments, her moving to get her own place. And when she got pregnant, he acted all excited. But eventually, his wife heard about it. And I guess maybe the wife was the one controlling him. I guess maybe the wife was the one he was scared of. And I think that was why he wanted to kill this girl. Because nothing stops him from breaking up with her. Nothing stops him from even disappearing or running away. He knew if this girl was alive, even if he ghosted her, he would most likely continue doing his work as a missionary. And maybe the wife will eventually confront Jessica, and Jessica would definitely tell the wife the truth, that the husband lied and said you are old and said that you permitted him to get married to me. Jessica would most likely tell the wife that she lost a baby, an abortion. She did an abortion for the husband. And we know how these Americans don't play with their divorce. Because with all this evidence, if the wife had a lot of these details, she has a strong ground to divorce this man and take all his properties or half of it. And I think that was what Richard Lucas was afraid of. And he needed to get rid of all the evidence, including the baby and including the girl.
So guys, this is Lucas' side of the story. It came out while I was editing the entire video. And so he's trying to explain his side of the story pretty much. All this beginning part is a little noisy, so I'll just run you through it. Somewhere along the line, he claimed he was taking her to get cornflakes and provisions and Golden Mon. He also claimed that she asked him for a sum of money in which he gave to her, and she gave to the mother, and her brother was there. Yada yada yada. They went to the supermarket to get whatever they were supposed to get, and on their way back, he claimed that his tire had an issue and that he had to stop along the road, and that Jessica was about to also get into a motorcycle to go home, and he would fix his vehicle and probably go to the airport or wherever he was coming from. But Jessica was by the roadside waiting for a tricycle, a keke, or a motorcycle to come get her to go home. So this is from here on is where he claimed that Jessica, that this is where he started explaining the whole attack. Mind you, it was said that he was cutting her head in the bush, but his own version of the story is clearly very different. So guys, I'll let you hear the rest part from his own words, because all this other beginning part is a little noisy. There's a background noise in it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and also turn on notification button, so should there be any future updates, you'll be the first to get notified. And also don't forget to let me know your thoughts, guys, by the end of this video and by the end of his confession, to let me know if you believe what he's saying, because I don't.
She's standing on the side of the coal tar, and I'm standing there doing this with the jack thing, and next thing I know, a motorbike comes out of nowhere and hits her, and she goes into a ditch, because right after this coal tar is like a little extra coal tar on the side of the coal tar. Right after that is just a big ditch.
Okay.
The motorbike hit her. She fell backwards and rolled into that ditch. I think she even fell backwards and hit the edge of the coal tar because she had blood coming. But she rolled backwards into there. At that point, I leave what I'm doing and I go to check on her and help her out and ask her if she's okay. I bring her up onto the coal tar. And at this point, this motorbike driver that just hit her is yelling out to other motorbikes, KK, whatever that's driving by, and this big lorry, big truck, big red truck that was carrying, I don't know, a dump pile truck, something like that, telling them that I hurt the girl, that I did something to the girl. I don't know how they were saying, but they were yelling it out, screaming it out. And so they're stopping, and then all these motorbike guys are stopping, and they're vexed at me. I'm walking around the front to go get in the car. She was walking around the front with me. She goes around the front, and she's coming to get in the car. Then something goes through the window and comes and hits me right here on the head. And when it hit me, I did like this on the steering wheel. And one of the guys took a big stick and started pounding. He came in front of the Land Cruiser and he started pounding on the thing. And so at this point, she's telling me to go. She would be okay as me then, because they think they're probably going to get money from me. I had $400 US in my pocket. No, 350, because I gave her 150. I had $350 US in my pocket right here and some small in my wallet right here. It was becoming so bad, and the truck believed that I was doing something wrong, so he was wanting to stop me. She's telling me go. And everything that I've heard about motorbike drivers in Liberia is that if something happens, you will always run. Especially if you're from outside, because they think they can get money from you. So I hit the gas and I start going. I didn't hit nobody. I even hit, before I put it in gear, I did like this so that they backed up. And then I went. And of course the motorbikes were following me. And the motorbike that hit her already had his motorbike out of the something. All I remember is that it was a red motorbike with a license plate in front. That's all I remember about it. But when they started following me, and I didn't know where to do. The only thing I knew was go to the first police officer that I could see.
Okay.
So what a relationship between this guy and
So I get to the first area where there's a police officer. And that police officer was so scared because he got hit with the same things they were chunking at me. They busted all my windows. You go look at that Land Cruiser. They busted all my windows.
I saw it.
They hit that police officer. He told me to keep going to the next police. He was going to try to stop these people.
Okay.
But that didn't work. Finally, when I reached to the I don't remember the exact how you call that area, but that goes on to the Walla. The police officer came and said, let me drive. Sorry, I'm still bleeding from this.